Alright, so today I want to talk about why Silverwolf is going to stay relevant in Honkai Star Rail for a very long time. Now, this really all boils down to her skill, especially just the first part of it, which is that she has a base chance to add one weakness of an on-field ally's type to the target enemy. Now, the reason that this is so amazing and it's going to keep her very relevant is because, for one, this ability is one of a kind. I think that it's one of those kinds of abilities in games, not just like Honkai Star Rail, but in general, that is very tailored towards the character itself in lore and all that kind of stuff. With Silverwolf being a really genius hacker and being able to basically change battles on a more fundamental level, such as adding those weaknesses to enemies. That's something that I don't see really any other characters in the future doing. So because of that niche that she has, she's going to be really just relevant and good in the foreseeable future for sure. And I think also what helps this niche as well is that it is harder to replicate that kind of buff into other characters. Because, sure, Silverwolf has, nihility type debuffs into her kit, such as her bugs with decreases to attack, defense, and speed. Then you have other nihility characters, like you have Welt, who slows down the enemy as his main debuff. And we have, Pella as another example. She provides a defense reduction on enemies, as well as removing buffs from them. And I feel like Welt and Pella, and also Silverwolf's attack, defense, and speed debuffs, those kind of nihility characters and those kind of just debuffs are a lot more easier to replicate because they're just very simple, just stat changes for the most part, and that's really just the point of the nihility class. But being able to give them something very unique is not something I feel like we're gonna see too often. It might seem a little unique for certain mechanics we might get in the future, but it's stuff that can easily be replicated. But Silverwolf fundamentally changing the weaknesses of the enemy you're fighting is something that is, I feel like, is very specific to her, and because of that, that makes her extremely valuable. And what this does now, because she can impact, I wouldn't say have full control because it's a random chance of which of the elements in your team become the new weakness, and you can only have one weakness at a time from her skill. But this allows for more team comps to be successful, because let's say, for example, you're running a team comp. I'll use my main team for example. I've been running Asila, Branya, Silverwolf, and Bailu recently, and that has two quantum characters, a wind character, and a lightning character. Let's say I'm fighting an enemy whose weaknesses are something like physical, fire, and imaginary. I have nothing on my team for that. But because I'm running Silverwolf, I can use Silverwolf's skill on the enemy, and all of a sudden, oh look, the enemy could get a quantum weakness. And now that I have a quantum weakness, I have two characters that are going to break down that toughness gauge. And getting damage from the weakness break, the weakness break effects for each element is going to be really helpful because you're just going to be doing more damage. Plus, with her being nihility, and I think nihility being on the come up right now with some of the characters that have come out, and then Kafka coming out in 1.2. I think that with that you're going to be able to just do more damage because in the situation with my team, if I apply a quantum weakness to an enemy that doesn't have one, all of a sudden my Silverwolf is going to be doing some break damage, and then my Seal is going to be doing a lot of weakness break to the enemy. And then if I break their weakness, I get the entanglement bonus, which is also really nice and just going to add more damage. So anything like that, whenever you don't have a type weakness for the enemy, Silverwolf can just create that situation for you. And I think in a game like this, a lot of characters are going to have, situations where they're better and situations where they may not be as effective. But what sets Silverwolf apart and what's really going to make her timeless for a long time is the fact that she can create those good situations. because a lot of characters just thrive off of them, and you have to put in, maybe like a decent amount of work to get those situations to happen. Like obviously you have to build your Silverwolf, and that can take some time depending on like your luck with relics and all that kind of stuff. Like my Silverwolf doesn't even have like the best relics on, but just having her and like leveling up her traces, having a good light cone on her, which there is a great free-to-play option already, she is going to be able to just create good situations that your characters can thrive off of. And for that reason alone, she just becomes future-proof. And that really makes me think that, for one, I absolutely don't regret summoning for her, since it was a whole big to-do for me because I wanted to save for Kafka and not summon at all in 1.1. But adding this level of flexibility to my account to where I'm not as bound by the weaknesses that the game sets on each of the enemies, I now can sort of create my own path in a sense, depending on the luck of which element on my team gets the new weakness, because that is a luck-based thing. But if I do get the ones I want, I can advance and do more damage. But even if I don't get the right weaknesses, I can try again, and for two, Silverwolf has those bugs as well, so she still is debuffing the enemy, and I think that just makes her a lot more flexible than a lot of other Nihility characters, which I think for especially Memory of Chaos, flexibility is so important because of the different enemies you're going to be fighting in there, and just the different enemies you'll fight in general throughout other parts of the game too. But yeah, that is really what I think about Silverwolf. I think she is probably the most valuable unit in the game right now, and I think Locha will have a similar kind of effect for different reasons. So I'll cover him once he's been out for a bit and stuff like that. But yeah, let me know what y'all think of Silverwolf in the comments down below. But yeah, I think if you're considering something for her, you're like, maybe I should, maybe I shouldn't. I think that she's going to be such a valuable asset to so many accounts.